Hey everybody, it's me again. So the last time we talked a little bit about me going to the doctor and finding out that I had asthma. Well, my doctor does not want to leave any stone unturned. So she also sent me to another doctor today, a specialist, and it's a cardiologist. Because, I'm old and fat, and I might fall over dead with a heart attack or something. So she had done an EKG in her office, and she thought she saw something. I don't know. But they sent me to a cardiologist anyway. So today I'm there, and he looks at my paperwork that I brought from there, and he's like, well, it looks okay, but we're going to do a stress echocardiogram anyway, just to make sure that everything's okay. So anyway, he tells me that we're going to do all this stuff, and then so I'm sitting there. He leaves the office. I'm sitting there in the office for like 15 minutes. Everybody's been so nice, though, in his office. Everybody was very sweet. And this young lady comes in, and she's like, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to prep you for the stress echo. I'm like, okay. I had an EKG the week before at my previous doctor's office, and it's like I had to take my shirt off, and I'm fat, and I'm overweight, and I haven't been in the sun since the first Bush administration, and it's like I'm kind of embarrassed, but I like take my shirt off anyway. And then my big old fat man boobs just flop out. And then later she says, okay, you can put your shirt back on, we're going to go into the lab to do the test. And I'm like, okay. So I put my shirt back on, feeling like an old woman, and then I follow her to the lab, and then she's like, she doesn't even close the door all the way, and she's like, okay, go ahead and take your shirt back off, and we're gonna lay it down on the table. And so I'm like, I take my shirt off again, and like all my fat man boobs and flesh just kind of falls out again, just falls out, and I'm just that's very uncomfortable. And then this guy comes in to do the echo part of it, the sonogram part, and it's like somebody I've known that's worked at the hospital for like the 15 years that I've worked there, 10 years that I've worked there, and I'm like really embarrassed because I've gained 700 pounds since the last time I've seen him. I'm like, and of course he doesn't close the door either, and he's like, oh, hi, you've gained a lot of weight. I'm like, hey, dude, person, guy. And so I lay down. It's just like, all my flesh, blobby flesh, just flops over on the table. And I could feel the rippling effect for like a couple of minutes after the aftershocks of me laying down. And then he does his part, and then I have to get back up. The little girl is like, come on, let's go to the treadmill. And so I get up, right myself and pull myself up off my girth, up off of the little table, and then we get up on the treadmill. I get on the treadmill, and she starts it up, and I'm like, so I'm like, okay, this is cool. She takes my blood pressure, and I look at my heart rate, and it's, it's climbing up to like 100, 110. And I look at my EKG, and it looks fine. Okay, I can do this. And of course, the whole time I'm doing this, the echo guy, keeps coming back in and out of the room, like recounting the times we knew each other from the hospital before, and how many kids he's had since then, and how he runs in the marathons. He weighs probably 37 pounds, and he runs 3 marathons a week or something, and he's really skinny, and I just hate him. I just hate him because he's skinny, and he looks like a pretzel, and it's been 2 hours since lunch, and I just want to, anyway, so I'm sitting there, on my treadmill. Okay, this isn't going to be so hard. This is cool. And then she says, okay, in 30 seconds, the treadmill's going to incline about 15 degrees, and it's going to speed up. That's going to speed your heart up. We've got to get your heart rate up to 180, okay? I'm like, okay. I'm like looking at all my fat folds just kind of sitting there jiggling while I'm running, you know, walking on this treadmill, just like, okay, we can do this. So I'm sitting here walking through this. Okay, here it goes. I'm like, okay, and then it's like, okay, I'm holding on now, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna work. I can do this. I can do this. And like, by this time, I'm getting hot. I'm hot even talking about it. It's getting hot, and I'm just like, and I don't have a fan. I'm trying to do this thing, and I just start perspiring. And I don't know if you've like been around a fat person that perspires, but I mean, after a while, it was just like dripping in streams, just dripping down my chest, like little rivers from, like, you know, the Ice Age, you know, when the glaciers were receding and all the water was coming down and going all the way down to the Mississippi Delta. It was kind of like that. And it was very uncomfortable. And then, you know, 2 or 3 minutes later, she's like, okay, in 2 minutes, it's going to incline to a 90-degree angle, and it's going to speed up 5 miles an hour. And I'm like, seriously? Sure enough, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm almost running already. And then this thing kicks back, and I swear to God, I'm perpendicular to the floor. It's like I'm walking up the wall. The incline is so high. And it's like rock climbing almost, except that my feet are against the wall. And I'm laying back, and I'm like jogging by now. I'm like okay, so keep running, and it's like I'm, you know, looking forward, but I'm looking at the ceiling because the incline is so steep. And this time I'm like sweating. I'm just water at this point is like jumping off my body, and it's raining in the room. It's raining my sweat in the room, and the girl's standing over there with an umbrella, and I'm apologizing. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry this is happening. And she's like, don't worry, it happens all the time. And then, you know, a couple of minutes later, she's like, okay, in 2 minutes, it's going to increase to a 180-degree angle, and you're going to be running at 35 miles an hour. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm about to start crying. And 2 minutes later, it's just, and my body is upside down. The treadmill is completely turned around, like my head's against the floor, and I'm like running like the Lord's been chasing me around the church or something, or the devil, or both of them, or somebody, or, you know. And by this point, my fat folds are just flapping, and at some point during this whole time, my body actually lifts off of the treadmill, and because my big man boobs are flapping so much, I'm actually airborne, and I'm flying mid-air in the room. And I don't even know how they're able to get good readings, because this rain of sweat is coming off of me, and my fat folds and my man boobs are just flying everywhere. But it didn't last too much longer after that. And it's like when she finally turned the machine off, it was like me, the machine, all of the mid-air humidity just kind of all fell to the floor at the same time. And then they're like, the door to the room by this time is completely open, and everybody in the office is just standing in the door going. And the doctor's like, oh, everything's fine. And so after that, I resolved that I'm going to take better care of myself. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to eat the right things. I'm going to make a change in my life. I can't be fat anymore. I can't be out of shape anymore. I can't let my cholesterol be out of whack anymore. It's time to make a change. Oh, don't worry. This is like a diet chocolate fudge milkshake.